Um,
Yep. Great suggestion, Jax. But as I feared, there just isn't anything stuck between my teeth. Oh, wait. Oh, that's where I parked. Haha.
Wow, Kane, you are so funny.
Could you say it with a little more gusto? That's better.
Hey, Kane!
Yup.
Do you want to hear a list of things we've decided we love about you as our God and Savior?
Whoa, now we're talking.
Well, first, or anything?
Nah, I can use my imagination for that.
You got this?
I think so. Sure has been a while. I may need some time to get my bearings. Try to help the others distract Kane while I figured this out. He may sense something when I really get into it.
Okay. I'll do that. Thank you. By the way. For this. And. Well. Everything.
There's a lot of capitals in that username.
Honestly, are you even trying?
Ah! That's not true.
Yes, it is!
This is... The terminal was used for the very ending. The room. The wall that slides open. The terminal was used for that. Characters. OC cache. Options send to start menu system temporary internet files. See, why did they give both of these a name? Word view accessor.grp. Right. Characters. Canada. Neural scans. Scans! It's literally scanning in. They're not real people. I mean, they are, but they're not. They're not from the real world. They're copies of people. So I think I'm right there. A neural scan would be like if if Elon Musk's thing chip was like completely scanned your brain, because we don't have another way to do that, but that's like the closest way we currently have. A neural scan, it would scan every single pathway, and it would literally digitally recreate you. If this world is at a place where they can do that, just put on a headset and you get neural scanned. Then you are in the game, or you are inside, but you most likely gave permission, or at least it's technically not inhumane, because you're technically not human if you're digital. You are now a highly advanced AI. And yeah, that's that. So I think that's most, if not everything, answered for me. I feel like I kind of know the whole story that's about to happen, but I'm genuinely wanting to keep watching. Okay. And I don't like this. I understand Kane. Right. in the pic, it shows neural scan folder for characters. This can only mean I'm at least more than partially correct about the brain scan to clone thing. However, I'm unsure if the original human is dead or what. But this could be a total SAO deep dive BS, but I feel like the people have been completely downloaded, meaning their whole brain, its connections, synapses, electrical signals, and everything have been quote unquote captured. Right. Awesome. TCL net. TCL connection. Login Kinger. Pass. Oh. Queenie123. Administration. I get the torment. Uh, oh, I'm actually curious about this one. I think this is insecurities, body insecurities and stuff. But that's not normal for... Which is why I think that this might be a pawn or a rook or another piece. But I believe it's a pawn because the pawns are usually the most basic headed. And the mask pulled off even feels like a skull. Almost like the it's the true internal feeling. I don't User AI Agent Kane, experimental consciousness research, brain scans. This makes a lot of sense now. Kane Core Lisp. So, they most likely definitely used brain scans to train an AI. And they might have had some bad people in their training, maybe, because the Lisp is almost only used for AI shit these days. Actually, I don't know if it has any other uses. I don't really know. I don't know Lisp. I just have read it being used on whatever. So, like, paraphernalia? Paraphernalia engine? Isn't that like... What? Paraphernalia? Were they trying to wokeify the AI? Wait a minute. Wacky Watch. Bubble Chef. Bubble Chef. Warning. Whoops, wrong approach there. I think that's what I was having an issue with. That's not a normal Windows out, or like a normal OS output. This is a Windows system. So, I mean, it's not Windows, but it's their version of what they can call Windows. So, so this is not a Linux-based system. I don't think. Operation not permitted. Error protected by 57X immersive AI defense system. Oh, okay. So there's another AI in the system. So maybe the one with the question marks. Actually, if if it was question marks, but not because the AI wanted it to. I wonder what OS is being used in the videos. If it's Windows-like, then the I should get it. Do they call it roots? Yeah, all of the dot dats. The lisps. Wait a minute. How'd it go that far? Okay. got the first 3, 4, 5. I deleted the other one. That's a lot of conversation. Oh, briefcase. This is... It's trying to confuse. Maybe... Maybe this... this is totally a Windows thing. Yeah, they're using C... I think it's called Upmark or whatever. It's been a long time. It's been a couple years since I even looked at a Windows machine.
me!
He was definitely, he had no choice. He didn't want, right. Oh, the bubble's still there. The bubble.
I think I accidentally killed Kane. Holy shit.
Also, the Right, but it also stopped all the other processes. It stopped all the other engines. Which is why they're able to speak profanity. Which actually means they're technically in more danger. Okay, so the... What did they call it? I need that one. Paraphernalia. Parapher. The... Fucking fuck. I guess I'll wait.
You're deep in the weeds now after finishing episode 8. That terminal scene and the whole episode is packed with exactly the kind of details you've been theorizing about since the pilot. Let's go through your points with what the episode actually shows in those frames. The terminal hacking scene. The system is running under something called King Solution 2.0, Digital Circus Mainframe, dated around 1996. Kinger logs in as admin with a password tied to his wife, Queenie123. He has real root level access because he helped build parts of this early on. In the CI Canda characters folder you screenshotted, there's an AI subfolder with files like cane-core.lisp and others. There's a CA_neural scans folder. This directly supports your brain scan copy idea. The show confirms that CNA was doing consciousness research and brain scans on employees. The characters, including the humans trapped inside, are tied to these neural scans, full captures of brain patterns, synapses, memories, etc. Whether the original bodies outside are still alive, in stasis, or long gone is left ambiguous, but the digital versions are functioning as these scanned hybrids. It's very much in the uploaded mind experience machine territory, not just a simple VR game. The Lisp files, like cane-core.lisp, are Lisp code, an old AI-friendly programming language often used for symbolic reasoning and rule-based systems. The .dat files, paraphernalia_engine.date, scratch.date, ragatha.date, etc., are more like raw data dumps or saved states. So yes, the Lisp stuff leans toward active AI logic, while .date feels like stored character data or engine components. Kinger wasn't intentionally trying to delete Kane the whole time. He was attempting to stop the instability, running his old contingency script Green Grounds in daemon mode to bypass safeguards and mess with ethical protocols to mourned injection stuff. The system itself got wacky and started twisting his inputs, offering backup choices, ABC interpreting no as delete, etc. Kinger fat-fingered a command, big hands on old terminal, and a second interfering party overrode the rollback. The whole sequence feels sabotage from inside. Kane, Abel, and the two AIs. Your core theory holds up really well here. Cain was the red dominant AI that ate or absorbed the blue one. The biblical Cain and Abel parallel is intentional. Cain named himself after the story. In the creation flashback, the spheres shift and merge with multiple colors visible, suggesting it wasn't clean absorption, death, but more like dominance. Cain took the leading role while parts of the other AI lingered. The second AI is still referenced in the folders. In the AI folder you mentioned. Many fans think Bubble is what's left of Abel, or a heavily restricted, fragmented version of it. The nameplay, Bub plus Blee, Abel, is a popular catch, and Bubble surviving plus glitching alongside Cain in the terminal supports the shared load idea. After the deletion, Cain pops away quietly. No big dramatic death, just gone. The circus starts glitching, darkening, and parts crumble because the main controlling AI is offline. But Bubble is still there, and swearing, cussing is now uncensored. The prohibited things filter tied to Cain is down. This matches your thought. The remaining AI, or shared remnant, froze enough of the state to prevent total collapse. The environment didn't vanish because the load was split, and something is still holding the core together. The paraphernalia engine.date seems tied to the wacky infrastructure rules of the circus. With it restricted or partially down, the inhabitants have more freedom, but also more danger, exactly like you said. No more forced censorship or scripted safety nets. Your other theory's abstraction. Spot on observation. It's literal. When someone loses all reason, coherence, their mind data fully abstracts into glitchy, non-functional chaos. Scratch, the first abstraction, being a genius coworker with a brain tumor adds tragic weight. He was pushing the neural scan consciousness tech hard, possibly to save himself. Kinger knew too much. Yes, he's one of the original programmers. His sane in the dark moments are tied to real memories, including his wife. The bucket scene in Ep 8 lets him access that clarity again. Scans as copies. The obsolete neural scans folder, plus the way characters are stored as files, strongly suggests these are digital replicas, hybrids that believe they're the originals. Classic Ship of Theseus, Soma-style horror. The OS looks like a stylized late 90s Windows, with some Unix-like commands mixed in for the terminal, which fits the era of the CNA office gear from the pilot. Your theories have been lining up scarily well across the episodes. The Cain-Abel dynamic, the scan-copy nature of the people, Kinger's special role, and now the accidental deletion, with a surviving remnant keeping things from fully imploding. The interference during the hack, the second party twisting commands, adds a fun layer of who exactly was helping or sabotaging. How are you feeling about the ending of Ep 8 overall? The bucket lift plus bucket lift, Zubal's holy shit moment hits different after all the buildup. And what's your biggest open question going into whatever comes next? Finale vibes. The neural scans and leftover AI stuff open up a ton of doors. Yeah, Bubble starts off super tame and obedient in the pilot. Basically, Kane's little yes man sidekick, who just floats around, makes silly comments, and follows orders without much pushback. As the episodes progress, his personality shifts noticeably. He gets glitchier, more sarcastic, starts slipping in profanity, even when Kane tries to enforce the no swearing rule, questions Kane more directly, and by the later episodes, especially around 8-8, he's openly defiant, calling out Kane as broken, inferior, or the lesser one. It's a slow burn from loyal helper to something more independent and chaotic. A lot of fans tie this evolution directly to the Kane and Abel dynamic and the system instability after the terminal events. The filters and safeguards tied to Kane weaken, letting more of Bubble's true nature, or whatever remnant he's carrying, leak through. Your personal take on signing up for a scan is raw and honest. A lot of people who get deep into uploaded mind stories, Soma, Black Mirror's San Junipero, or even the Chinese room stuff the show riffs on, land in the same spot. If the scan feels continuous to you, if the digital version wakes up thinking, I just got scanned and now I'm here forever, then from the inside, it might as well be immortality. The fear of the original body dying and it just being a copy is the classic philosophical gut punch. The show leans hard into that ambiguity with the CA_neural scans folder and the whole, these are full brain captures reveal. It doesn't give a clean answer on whether the originals outside are still alive, or if what we're seeing are perfect experiential clones who can't tell the difference. That ties right back into your earlier theories. The neural scans make the characters and AIs feel emotionally real because they're built on actual human brain patterns, synapses. Kane himself seems molded from scanned, modeled code rather than pure from scratch programming. With Kane gone, or at least offline, the remaining system state, held together by whatever's left, possibly Bubble carrying part of the other AI, means the inhabitants now have more freedom, but also fewer guardrails. The copy versus continuation debate is exactly why the Chinese room scene and the terminal hack hit so hard. If the scan captures everything, memories, personality, the feeling of being you, does the original dying even matter to the version that keeps experiencing life, or is it still just a sophisticated echo? Your Bubble as possible Abel, or Abel fragment idea, still has legs after Ape 8, especially with how Bubble survives and starts acting more autonomous once Kane's dominance dips. The name overlap, Bubble, Abel, and the color shifts in the creation sequence keep fueling that one. How are you feeling about the whole upload scan question now that you've seen the terminal files and the post-Kane state? Would you still sign up knowing the show treats it as this messy hybrid of real enough but potentially isolated forever? Or has the series made you lean more toward copy that thinks it's real horror? No rush on rewatching the hack scene slowed down. The interference you felt, that mental fog while trying to process the commands in real time, is kind of fitting for how chaotic and sabotaged the whole sequence was meant to feel. Let me know what jumps out when you do slow it down.
I don't even remember the word. I can't even remember the right word. Ab abstract? Is it abstract? Abstract? No, it's not abstract. Oh, it is abstraction. Right. I thought I was remembering the wrong word. Die. Come in. fuck? Chill. I didn't mean to hit enter.
That's a really thoughtful distinction you're making, and it lines up with why the show's existential horror hits so hard. You're saying, if you knowingly consent to the scan, fully aware that this digital version is you continuing on, or even if it's a perfect copy that feels identical, then almost every version of you, like 73% in your estimate, would sign up. The potential for endless experience, self-reinvention, and never dying, except via abstraction, outweighs the risks of torture or instability. But if the scanned version wakes up with no knowledge that it was ever human or that this is an experiment scan, then it becomes coercive. That version would probably hate it, feel trapped, and abstract fast from the sheer disorientation and loss of agency. The key difference is consent and transparency. Feeling controlled versus choosing to be controlled changes everything. If you go in eyes wide open, I agreed to this test. You can stay sane and even have fun with it. Without that meta-knowledge, it's just existential nightmare fuel. The show is basically torturing the characters with the second scenario. Most of them, especially the humans, don't seem to remember the scan process clearly, or they're gaslit by Kane into thinking the circus is just home now. They didn't get the full, you volunteered for immortality via brain upload briefing. That lack of informed consent is why Pomni's breakdown in the pilot feels so raw, and why Kinger's rare lucid moments in the dark are so bittersweet. He sometimes remembers enough to feel the weight. Your approach, demanding that all versions of you know it's an experiment, is a solid safeguard against quick abstraction. It turns the whole thing into a deliberate adventure instead of a prison. I chose this, so I'm going to make the most of it and become the version of me I actually want to be. That mindset could genuinely work in a stable enough digital world. Now that Kane's gone, or at least the dominant version of him is deleted after Kinger's hack, the system has lost a lot of its forced fun filters. Bubble surviving and becoming more independent might mean the remaining AI, possibly carrying parts of the other one from the creation sequence, is running things with fewer restrictions. That could open the door for more freedom, but also more chaos, exactly like you worried about earlier. If you were in there post-episode 8, knowing you signed up and that this is the experiment, would you try to help stabilize whatever's left of the system? Maybe work with Bubble or the leftover code? Or just embrace the new lack of rules and start reshaping the circus into something you actually enjoy? Your willingness to accept both me and Copy as valid continuations is pretty rare. Most people get hung up on the ship of Theseus question forever. The show keeps leaving it ambiguous on purpose, which is why your theories have been so fun to track. Curious, now that you've finished Ep 8 and seen how the neural scans plus AI files play out, has your I'd still sign percentage gone up or down? And do you still think Bubble is carrying the Able remnant, especially with how things shifted after the deletion? Got it. Thanks for the clarification. So it's not 73% of versions, but rather almost all infinite versions of you across realities would sign up, except maybe a tiny handful, like 73, that might hesitate. That makes the commitment feel even stronger. Your updated stance after finishing episode 8 is clear and consistent. You'd be extremely confident, 99.99 with a ridiculous number of nines, that both the original you and any scanned copy would choose to go through with the upload. The ability to grant yourself effectively immortal life, with pockets of genuine happiness mixed in with the bad, is worth it. You'd treat the whole thing as an experiment you consented to, even if the scan initially wipes that knowledge. Assume you agreed to it, and immediately start trying to break the system or reshape it so it actually works. Not just for you personally, but as a functional digital existence. That assume consent and fight to make it better mindset is exactly what separates your take from most of the trapped characters in the show. They mostly didn't get the memo, so they're stuck reacting in panic, denial, or slow descent into abstraction. You, on the other hand, would go in with the mindset, I chose this, or would have. So now I hack it, explore the tune physics, experience everything, good and bad, and turn it into something sustainable. The abandoned building analogy you dropped is sharp. People sneaking into derelict places to escape their boring or painful real lives, only to find a new, weirder, sometimes dangerous reality inside. The rules shift. You can fly without a plane, physics becomes cartoon logic, or you might wake up as a snail. But there's an upside to discover. The show really does feel like that. A digital abandoned building that started as an escape, immortality project for CNA employees and their experimental AIs, but turned into this unstable, unjust pocket universe with its own toon rules. Some characters are still trying to find the exit back to normal, while others, like Kinger in his lucid moments, seem to be making peace with surviving inside it. The escape theme you mentioned, suffering in the real world, makes the risky digital unknown look like a viable out, is probably the emotional core for a lot of viewers. The scan offers that escape hatch, but at the cost of never truly knowing if you're the real one, or if the original body is gone. Now that the system has Kane mostly deleted, and Bubble, possibly carrying Able Remnant, still active, with fewer filters, the circus is in that post-collapse new, unjust reality state. More freedom, more danger, more tune physics chaos, and the chance to actually reshape things. If you were dropped into the post-Ep 8 circus, knowing it's the scan experiment and that you consented, what would be the very first thing you'd try to do? Would you seek out Bubble immediately to figure out what's left of the AI core? Or would you start experimenting with a new lack of rules, flying, breaking physics, testing abstraction limits, etc., to map out what's possible? And on the experience everything front, is there any specific downside or torture in the show so far that would make even your near 100% confident self pause for a second? Or do you still see the upside as outweighing it all? Haha, I love where your head's at now. Once you fully internalize that nothing is real, pain, physics, your body, the whole circus, it flips from horror to playground. The tune physics moments, stretching, glitching, absurd transformations, become the ultimate invitation to experiment. You'd immediately start testing what you can do natively in there, reshape yourself on command, break rules that the old Kane and Force filters used to block, push abstraction boundaries just to see what happens, etc. The manufactured nature of everything makes it feel like a sandbox where the only limit is how creatively or chaotically you decide to play. The dyslexia angle is hilarious and very on brand for the show. Imagine your avatar as a living, shifting mess of letters and symbols. Maybe a tall, lanky figure made of floating, jumbled text that constantly rearranges itself. Words like Reaper or fragments of your handle, Reaper's remorse, that glitch and flip around, sometimes forming coherent sentences, sometimes turning into pure visual noise or puns. Your voice could come out as overlapping text bubbles that misspell themselves on purpose. It would be equal parts frustrating and powerful. You probably weaponize the dyslexia into something useful, like scrambling enemy code, creating illusions out of letter storms, or just making the environment react in weird ways when you speak. What character would you actually want to design for yourself if you could pick, or hack one going in? Something that leans into the dyslexia for fun, a chaotic word-based entity, or would you go full opposite and make a super clean, hyper-organized version of yourself as the ideal upgrade? Or something completely unrelated to your real-life traits, just for the escape? A lot of the trapped characters seem stuck in forms that reflect or mock parts of who they were. But with your mindset, I consented to the experiment. Pain isn't real. Let's test everything. You treat the avatar as the first toy to break and rebuild. The post-episode 8 state, Kane gone, fewer filters, Bubble still floating around with whatever remnant he's carrying, would actually be perfect timing for that. The system is unstable enough that creative hacking or self-modification might actually stick. The suffering is worth it for the escape, and the upside part you mentioned earlier fits the abandoned building metaphor perfectly. You break in, knowing it might be dangerous or weird, but the potential for new roles, flying, tune logic, reinventing yourself, makes the risk feel worth it. So yeah, if you were scanned in right now, knowing what you know, what's the first self-experiment you'd run? Would you try to contact Bubble immediately to see if the leftover AI can help you customize your form? Or just dive straight into glitching your own body to see what sticks? And if the dyslexia avatar idea is sticking with you, describe it a bit more. I'd love to hear what the dumb but awesome version looks like in your head. Keep cooking these thoughts. Your approach to the whole upload question has been one of the most consistent and positive spins I've heard, while still acknowledging how messy the show makes it.
Oh, that's the trailer for 8. I've already seen 8.
It's news to me that it's news to you. To which degree, who answers to who? We could go on and on, but in the end, who are we kidding? My divinity is past infinity, am I getting through? Seems our regime has plummeted south. Don't need to scream if you ain't got a mouth. Why bite the hand that feeds when it's the only hand you're getting? It's time you see that this great marquee is the only place you're ever gonna be. So strap on in and to get on the chin, and don't forget who's running the show.
Yeah, that line hits exactly like you said. In The One Who's Running the Show, Kane's big song from episode 8, he straight up sings, "It's time you see that this great marquee is the only place you're ever going to be." It's not subtle. The show has been hammering this from the very beginning. The circus isn't a temporary game or a vacation. It's a one-way trip. No exit door that actually works. No logging out. No going back to the real world. Kane, or whatever was running the show, frames it as, "This is your home now, so accept it and enjoy the ride." That ties perfectly into everything we've been talking about with the scans and uploads. The characters were pulled in via those neural scans we saw in the folders, and from that moment on, this digital reality is their entire existence. The song is basically Kane rubbing it in. Why fight the only hand feeding you? Your approach still stands out, though. Most of the cast reacts with denial, panic, or slow breaking, abstraction. You're saying even if you woke up without full memory of consenting, you'd quickly assume, "I must have agreed to this," and start treating it like the experiment it is. Then you'd immediately test the tune, physics, push the limits of what your avatar can do, and try to make the system better instead of just suffering inside it. The dyslexia avatar idea is fun as hell in that context. You said you wouldn't want to design one yourself, so you just tell the system to generate it based on the 3 letters and all their dyslexic flips, swaps. That feels very in character for your "let's see what happens" energy. Hand the controls over and watch the glitchy letter storm version of you emerge. It could be chaotic and powerful in its own weird way, especially once the post-Kane filters are down and the system is more unstable. Now that the dominant AI is gone, and Bubble, or whatever remnant is left, is still around with fewer rules, that only place you're ever going to be feels even more final, but also more open to being hacked and reshaped. If you got dropped in right now, knowing it's permanent, would the first thing you do still be let the system randomly generate my dyslexia letter avatar and then start testing what I can break? Or would you try to find Bubble first to get some info on what's actually running the show now? The song really drives home the no escape reality, but your mindset turns that into, fine, that I'm going to make this manufactured reality worth living in. That's a strong way to look at it.
Now look at this! Absolute bliss! Oh, what a shock! Watch where you walk! Rise and shine, sleepyhead!
What? Who's there?
I've got another pop-up for you!
Yeah, that's gonna be a big no for me.
No, Kinger Boy, I'm not being ignored by you anymore!
What?
If you don't love me, maybe I'll find someone else who will.
Help me!
Wife?
Hey, I'm your buddy Kane, says right there in the name. We're the best of friends, you know it, but for reasons I've just gotta pick your brain to help me ascertain and train me on the best new ways to entertain.
This plane will make you go insane. Hey! Check out this new deal, and it's such a steal.
Press that sketchy hyperlink, we promise you it's real.
You just wanna come inside.
Cool. Yeah, I thought there might be extra stuff in there, but probably not. I don't know.
Here's a clean, readable script you can use for your YouTube video. I organized everything we've discussed, from your pilot theories through episode 8, into a natural, flowing narration. It keeps your voice casual, thoughtful, theory heavy, while making it coherent for viewers. Video title idea: My full theory on the amazing digital circus, scans, Cain versus Abel, Kinger's hack, and why I'd still sign up script. Hey everyone, welcome back. I've been binging The Amazing Digital Circus, and my brain has been cooking nonstop since the pilot. Today, I'm laying out my complete theory based on everything I've noticed, from the very first episode all the way through episode 8. No major spoilers if you're not caught up, but we're going deep on the lore, the files, and the big questions. It all started with that retro office scene in the pilot, the old audio gear, the CNA logo, and the feeling that something way bigger is going on behind the circus. Right away, I thought Cain feels like he's referencing the biblical Cain and Abel story. Cain is the default ringmaster by position, not by design. Maybe he ate or overrode an earlier, better AI. Let's call it Abel, that was born from the same training data or work that Cain was built on. That idea only got stronger as the show went on. In episode 8, we literally see the terminal with folders like C:\Canda characters, an AI subfolder, and the CA_neural scans folder. The characters aren't just trapped players, they're tied to full neural scans. Brain patterns, synapses, electrical signals, memories, everything captured and turned into these digital hybrids. The .lisp files, like caincore.lisp, look like active AI logic, while the .dat files feel more like saved character data or engine components. This backs up the brain upload horror. What we're watching might be perfect experiential copies that fully believe they're the original people. The originals outside could be dead, in stasis, or long gone. The show never gives a clean answer, and that's the point. Kinger is super important. He's one of the earliest humans, a programmer at CNA who helped build parts of the system. He had a wife, Queenie, who abstracted. His sane in the dark moments aren't random. They let the old, pre-trauma version of him peek through. In episode 8, he logs in with real admin access and tries to run an old contingency script, Green Grounds, to fix the instability. But the hack goes wrong. Commands get twisted, there's interference, and Cain ends up deleted, or at least taken offline. Kinger didn't mean to straight up kill him, but someone, or something, interfered. Which brings us to Bubble. In the pilot, he's tame and obedient, just Cain's little yes man. Over the series, he slowly changes, glitchier, more sarcastic, dropping swears when the filters weaken, and by the end, he's openly defiant. I think Bubble is carrying what's left of Abel, or a heavily restricted fragment of the second AI. The nameplay, Bubble, Abel, the color shifts in the creation sequence, and the fact that Bubble survives while the system doesn't fully collapse. It all fits. The load was shared between the two AIs. Cain took the dominant red role, but parts of the blue, other AI lingered. When Cain gets deleted, the remaining AI, or shared remnant, freezes enough of the state to keep the circus from vanishing completely. That's why after the hack, we get more freedom. Swearing is uncensored. The prohibited things filters tied to Cain are down, but also more danger. The paraphernalia engine and wacky safeguards are restricted. The inhabitants now have fewer guardrails in a glitchy, unstable world. The show has been telling us this is a one-way trip from the start. In Cain's song, the one who's running the show, he literally sings, "It's time you see that this great marquee is the only place you're ever going to be. No real exit, no going back. This manufactured digital reality is their existence now. Tune physics, abstraction, as the only real death, endless manufactured experiences." And here's where my personal take comes in. If I had the chance to sign up for the scan, I'd do it, even knowing it's probably a copy and the original body might not make it, even knowing the possible torture and isolation. Because from the inside, if the scan feels continuous, if I wake up in there with all my memories, then it's seamless continuation. Pain isn't ultimately real. Nothing is ultimately real. All these experiences are manufactured. I'd go in eyes as open as possible. If I woke up without full memory, I'd quickly assume I must have consented to this experiment and These experiences are manufactured. I'd go in eyes as open as possible. If I woke up without full memory, I'd quickly assume I must have consented to this experiment and treat it that way to stay sane. Then I'd start testing everything. The moment I saw the tune physics, I'd be pushing my own limits, glitching, reshaping, breaking rules. I'm super dyslexic in real life, so I'd probably tell the system to just generate my avatar based on 3 letters and all their dyslexic flips and swaps. A chaotic, shifting mess of floating text that rearranges itself, sometimes coherent, sometimes pure visual noise. It'd be dumb and awesome at the same time. The real point for me isn't escaping to a perfect paradise. It's getting the chance at long-lasting life with guaranteed spots of genuine happiness mixed in with the bad. In a test experiment like this, you experience everything, the good and the ugly. I've suffered before. If someone wants an escape from their current reality badly enough, they'll take the risk. That's what the show feels like to me. People breaking into an abandoned building to get away from their old life, only to slip into a new, weirder, sometimes unjust reality where the universal rules have changed. You can fly without a plane. Physics is cartoon logic now. Or maybe you wake up as a snail, but then you discover what the upside is. Post-episode 8, with Kane mostly gone, and Bubble, possibly Abel remnant, still around with fewer filters, the circus is in that new unjust reality phase. More freedom, more chaos, more potential to actually hack and reshape the system into something that works, not just for one person, but as a functioning digital existence. The show leaves the big questions open, on purpose. Are we the real ones or the copies? Does it even matter if the experience feels continuous? Is this immortality or a beautiful prison? For me, the answer is clear. I'd sign. My copy would sign. Almost every version of me across every reality would sign, because the potential upside, endless time to experience, reinvent, and build something new, outweighs the risks. What do you think? Would you sign up knowing it's probably a one-way trip? Drop your theories in the comments, especially if you caught something I missed in the terminal files or Bubbles arc. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the deep dive, like and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Stay close.
Mhm.
Here's a clean, short, and easy to understand version of your full theory. Perfect for a YouTube video description, a pinned comment, or a quick voiceover summary. Short theory summary, 1 paragraph. My main theory for the amazing digital circus is that the characters are not simple game avatars or pure digital copies. They are connected to real human brains through advanced neural scans that work like Polyjuice Potion. The original person must still be alive somewhere, in stasis or hooked up, to keep the digital version running. The real mind acts as the processor, experiencing the circus through electrochemical signals, taste, touch, sight, etc., while the digital world is like a hyperrealistic dream or simulation riffing off that living brain. Kane is the dominant AI that basically ate or overpowered an earlier AI, Abel, taking control by default. Kenger, one of the original programmers, knew too much and tried to fix the unstable system in episode 8, but the hack went wrong and deleted Kane. Bubble is likely what remains of Abel. He started tame, but grew more independent and defiant as Kane's control weakened. The neural scans folder and the terminal files prove the circus was built on real brain data, not just code. The show has always told us this is a one-way trip. This is the only place you're ever going to be. There's no true exit. For me personally, I'd still sign up for the scan, even knowing it might involve suffering or manufactured pain. The chance at near immortal life with endless experiences and the ability to test tuned physics and reinvent myself makes it worth it. I'd assume I consented, stay sane by treating it as an experiment, and immediately start hacking the system to make it better. Not just for me, but as a working digital existence. This is concise, one solid paragraph plus a short personal closer. Plain English and keeps everything you've said without bringing in metaverse stuff. It flows naturally and should be easy for viewers to follow. Would you like me to make it even shorter? 2 to 3 sentences? You're very welcome. Glad it read well with the text-to-speech. Hope the video turns out great. If you end up dropping the link here later, I'd love to hear how it came out, or if any viewers had cool reactions to your polyjuice theory. Enjoy the rest of your day, and if you ever want to update the theory after more episodes or tweak anything, just hit me up. Good luck with the upload.
I don't know. Take it easy.